So we're going to talk about 3 different pests, and I'm going to give you a little bit more information about them, okay? But before we look at them as pests, let's look at them as living things. Cockroaches, they are living things. Cockroaches, have you heard the saying that if there's a nuclear bomb goes off, the only thing that's going to live is cockroaches, right? And it's because they're great recyclers. Cockroaches eat everything, including each other, okay? And they need to actually eat each other, and they actually eat their droppings, the baby cockroaches do, so that they get the bacteria in their body to eat all that nasty stuff that they're eating. That's it. So it's incredible, and it's amazing, and they reproduce at a super fast rate. So knowing about these things, we can use that to start controlling them. Why are they a pest? For all the reasons that Shraddha gave us. That, first of all, nobody likes cockroaches, right? You look at them, they make you feel gross. I mean, it makes you just feel uncomfortable. That's because these things are filthy. They're crawling around garbage. They're spreading bacteria and contaminating surfaces in your utensils. So, I mean, it's a natural instinct to dislike them because they're filthy. And when they're in their space, they make our space filthy. This is a nice graph. One female cockroach in 6 months gives you over 18,000 cockroaches. So that's why they're such a pest, because each one of them has an egg case of 36 cockroaches. And that thing hatches, and in 30 days you have 36 cockroaches that have well, we have 18, half of them are female, 18 of them are having babies. That's 18 times 36, and exponentially from there. So every time you see a cockroach, it's not good enough to just, let it go. You want to kill it, because you kill one cockroach, you're killing maybe 18,000 of them. So we're going to review what is the good way to kill them. So the good way to avoid the cockroaches to begin with, though, is to work with the maintenance. You have to be an advocate for your space. You have to really say what it is that you want, and what we all want is a happy home with our family. So we need to report the leaks. If you have a leak, you got to report it right away, and you can even frame it. I've got a leak. This is a problem for me because it can make mold, but it also can contribute to the cockroach problem that we have. So I think it's really important that we're working on that. Beware of used appliances. That's a huge one. So I don't know if anyone has ever brought cockroaches home in a used microwave or TV or refrigerator, but that's super common. So be careful what you're buying used, because if it has cockroaches in it, it's not worth it, unless you're doing something to deal with it. Keeping food in tight containers is a good idea. It's something you can do. Cleaning up your spills. Organizing pantries and closets is really number 1. So when you have things organized and you can see what's in there, you can see if it gets infested, you can see if there's cockroaches, and you can start moving that stuff out and cleaning it up. The worst thing for a pest control guy is to go to a unit, open up a closet, for it to be stuffed from top to bottom. You don't know what's going on there, and there's nothing you can really do to start controlling it. So to have things organized that you'll be able to inspect is really what you want to do. And then sealing cracks and crevices. So what can we do to control the cockroaches? We talked about, catching one is preventing 18,000. So we use sticky traps everywhere. We're putting these little sticky traps. I don't think I even have one on me. I have them at the unit, and I'll show you how those work. But we put those under the sink, by the microwave, by the television, and they just sit there. And as things are crawling by, they start catching it, and that's a trigger for us. Okay, we need to go and do some treatment in this area and find where those cockroaches are nesting. Pest exclusion means to exclude is to keep them out. So finding those openings where they're coming in from other units and sealing them up. Those are around the water lines that go under the sink. So anything that's a utility coming into your unit has a hole through the wall. That's where the cockroaches and the mice come in. So around the radiators, around the gas lines, and around the water lines. So that's one of our big objectives, is to seal those up. And then detergent water treatment. So that's it. That's the big magic. It's detergent. Soapy water kills insects on contact. Did you know that? So it takes only a little bit of, so we, in our toolkit, we're providing you with some Palmolive, which is a basic dish detergent, nothing special about it. Yes, everyone's going to get a bucket, a toolkit bucket. So that might be too much. And we haven't, been doing tests to see how little it takes to do it. And if we all knew this, I think we would use it. I mean, soap kills them on contact, it doesn't push them away, and it removes the allergens that they leave behind.
How about boric acid? A lot of people use boric acid also.
So boric acid is a powerful tool if it's used the right way. Okay, so what you don't want to do is be sprinkling boric acid all over your house, because then you're doing the same thing with the Ajax, and that could be worse for your kid that has asthma than I don't know if it's worse for the cockroaches, but just as bad. So the way that you use boric acid is inside the voids, inside the space under the cabinets, in the wall. And it's a lot harder for some people to do that at home. We can do that. We have special tools for blowing it into those spaces. But it's a good tool if you're keeping it out of the way, where you're not going to be touching it. So this is our pesticide. It's palm olive. These are our cockroaches. And I'm not going to bring it over to you, but you see that they're all alive, right? The point is, I just want you to see that they're alive. These are they're called dubia cockroaches, and so that's probably more than I actually needed. I did it last night where I sprayed them, moved them into a fresh container, and put them aside. We're going to set it aside. It takes about 2 minutes for them to die.
You got to put them in a container and then spray them and then cover the container?
Yeah, is it okay?
You can't just spray them?
Oh, I just...
Well, you're going to have to. You ain't going to pick them up by hand and put them in the bucket. He just showing us that right there. You see a roach spray him. I don't want to pick them up and put no jar to spray him.
Those are some big roaches.
So what is it doing? Is it suffocating them?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think it is suffocating. It's a couple of things. What soaps do, soaps are amazing, first of all, okay? Soaps are hydrophilic and hydrophobic, which means that they love water and they don't like water. They like oil. So what that does is when you mix this with water and you spray it onto oil on your clothes, what it does is it bonds to the oil on your clothes, and then the rest of the water washes it away. It bonds to the oil, and then the water takes it off the pants. So what's going on when you're spraying the cockroaches is they have like an oily covering on their body. So you're removing that oil from their body, it's bonding to them, and then you're also covering their sphericals where they breathe through the vents on the side of their thing. So it's a double action.
And when they die, they turn over on their backs, huh?
They might.
I ain't never seen one just stood up and die.
So if you want to, I can pass it around. Go ahead. So what you'll see is that they start to stretch their body out. I think it's because they're suffocating, I think is what it is. Powerful control is baits, okay? And that goes back to what we were talking about before. Cockroaches eat the dead bodies of other cockroaches. They eat the droppings of other cockroaches. So when you apply a bait, you're giving the cockroach a food that it goes and takes, it goes back to its nest, and it dies there. And then all the baby cockroaches start eating that dead cockroach. And then they die. And it lives on, the pesticide that way. So this is a pesticide that does all the work for you. You put it there, the cockroaches find it, and then they go back and they spread it to each other that way.